All right, week 51, outlook one of two. Let's go ahead and get into it. First thing, reiterating, I'm moving to futures so you can see on the dashboard here on TradingView, I have set up futures and micro futures. I'll be navigating between the two, but going into the new year, I'm going to uh, look at the futures charts, not the micro futures. I may execute on micro futures charts on a couple of things as I take this small account that I'm building up and and gonna see what I do with it over this next year. But yeah, futures, that's the wave to that's what I'm gonna do. But for right now, the CFDs, let's end the year off looking at these. All right, starting off with Euro USD, still it's still playing out well. I believe the last thing we talked about was the mitigation of this high here, of this liquidity point. We talked about the macro state was a bullish run. We are inside this price leg. We had the impulse, the pullback solidified and initiated by the breaker structure here. Once we got that break of structure that initiated the pullback, then we got the mitigation of the inefficiency, which balanced the price leg, and now we're in the secondary impulse. And I pointed out the liquidity points that we would be looking at where we cleared the most recent one. Actually, I think it was like a day or two after I said it was going to be cleared. And then now we're, just keep driving higher to take out the others. So we'll see what happens from there. But as of right now, this is just as the program is written. All right, GU. GU's giving GU's being fun. Right now it is still, looking to solidify the legs, so we're just being patient with it. There's not really too much to say about it. It is what it is right now. I mean, there are trades if you want to take them. There aren't trades if you don't want to take them. There aren't trades if you do want to take them, and there are trades if you don't want to take them. Right? It's a game theory thing. But yeah, it's moving as expected towards the liquidity point that will initiate the pullback and also solidify the price leg for the bearish run. So as of right now, we're just waiting for that. All right, the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has been a very interesting development. So we are in a bullish run. That's the current macro state. But we have something that's very, very interesting happening right now. We have unwillingness. And I don't really talk too much about it because we haven't really, seen it too often in the pairs that I've looked at. But as of right now, or at the time I was looking at them, but as of right now, this right here is unwillingness. Um, and will it solidify is what we are looking to see. So I remember if we pointed out multiple, areas of interest on the Nasdaq that we were looking at, and specifically the one that was counter trend was this area of interest here, in which I said I wasn't expecting price to give any response meaningful. Boy, was I wrong. I did also count out say the counter narrative was that this could give a yield that would push price lower, but I was fully expecting price because of the sensitivity here for it to break down and then continue higher. But price has decided to show unwillingness, mitigate 50% of this price gap here. So completely balanced for as all I'm concerned because of the move that's happening right now. And we are diving lower. So as of right now on the NASDAQ, we still are in, the still bias is a macro bullish trend. What we will need to see in order to transition states and to transition from bearish to bullish price action, or from bullish to bearish price action, is the break of this structural point here. And what would happen here is if we were to break this structural point, is we will then transition, well, sorry, if the action that happens here is a break of structure, we will transition from a bullish run on the macro bias to a bullish range, in which we will be inside of a range from this low here, which took out the all-time high post, bearish range here, and then we will have the bullish range existing from this low all the way up to this high. But as of right now, like I said, the current trend is bullish. So what I could be looking at is opportunities for bullish price action. That is what primarily you would want to look at. You can take the counter trend, and the counter trend is very, very powerful right now. But if you're going to stick to the pro trend, then the opportunity, really the last opportunity, would be actually inside of this price gap here. But I'm giving away too much because I really shouldn't be, talking about entries. Um, but that's an area of interest that I would be looking at to continue price higher. And if that breaks, then full on, we're going to aim towards that structural point. And then it's a matter of, is it a liquidity draw or is it a break of structure? If it's a liquidity draw, then all we do is shift the structural point down again and we look for price to go back up. If it's a break of structure, then we look for actual transition of the macro market state from a bullish run into a bullish range. So yeah, this is very interesting right now, but it fits the price action. If you want the real world analog, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding AI from the investor standpoint, not on the technology standpoint. It's solidified that there's a lot of advancements, a lot of stuff going on, but the investors are really uncertain on how to value it with the return on investment, the very lengthy yield curves are they're looking interesting. But I'm not going to get into that, right? Because this is technical analysis. I'm just giving you the real world analog to why the price action is looking like that. If you want to look at that and keep your mind or keep your ear to the street on, if you want to look at that kind of stuff. But the technical analysis is saying, hey, we're still in a bullish run. We're pulling back. If we fail to get a response favorable from this area of interest that I just had annotated, then we're going to head towards the structural point, and then we assess what action occurs. If it's a break of structure, then we've transitioned states. If it's a liquidity draw, then we look for opportunity to continue the bullish run. All right, that's the NASDAQ. All right, on gold, I think I said on the liquidity draw, and in the last outlook week 50, that we were going to take out that high. We did that easily, and I said that we're looking to go towards all-time highs. We're steadily, doing that. There's not much price action. I mean, if it does pull back, it could pull back into this price gap, but I'm pretty sure gold is looking to just keep chugging along, take out this high. And then go from there. Now, the counter analysis is always open to the counter opportunity is this price just plummets, right? Price can just continue to drop, but unlikely. The price action, the structure is showing bullish. You look at all the points, the higher lows, everything. Every pullback is just another opportunity to enter, like from here to here, pullback, mitigation, 100% of the price gap. Then we run the high, pullback, mitigation, 100% of the price gap. And then we're just, continuing higher. So there's not really much to say on that. It's just continue the program. All right, and then on US 30. So I am trading US 30. Um, and similar thing with the NASDAQ is we're looking at, potential price action that is showing bearishness. And so I'm not really going to dive too deep into this because this was more so a counter trend sort of intraday or interday kind of thing. I'm not looking too deep into it right now. I just happened to take a play on it that's currently playing out pretty well. That is a counter trend play, looking for targeting, this low here based on the current price action. Understanding that, I mean, obviously we are clearly in a bullish run, 100% in a bullish run. But the counter trend and coming off of all-time highs, we could be pulling back here. Looking at this structural point, we are looking at this price gap here currently, but this is really high in the price leg. So if there is anything to happen, it's going to pull back to mitigate at least the open of this sponsored candle here that took out this high. And if it doesn't take out that sponsored candle, it's going to take out the structural point, and then we'll assess the action that occurs there. I'm full on, bias counter trend that this will continue lower, but obviously the pro trend is bullish. So stick to that. I'm just looking for a couple counter trend plays here, just because they're right in my face. I'm just going to take it, right? I'm just going to take the trade. So yeah, that's it. Not much else to say on that. So, peace.